Welcome to Hamlet in the 1920s. In our adaptation, we will have our characters dressed in 1920s fashion, such as Ophelia resembling a flapper, while Claudius and Gertrude dress in high-class fashion.
This will be set in a speakeasy owned by Claudius and Gertrude. Ophelia and Polonius will be working there as a waitress and as a bartender.
Instead of focusing on the royal hierarchy, we will be focusing on the mob of the Roaring Twenties.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern will be portraying mob members, while Horatio will be playing the role of a lawyer. Enjoy!
I've tended to my bee's knees. I'm ready to go. My stuff's on my boat. I'm ready to go to France. So, write frequently.
You think I wouldn't write to you?
And as for that fella Hamlet, he's no good. He's the boss's son, for heaven's sakes. So stay frosty on your toes, because you can't stick with them for not more than a minute.
Not even 1 minute.
See, you can't let him make you his broad. You have to stay good. Business is business, and if you spoil your goods now, then no man's gonna want you in the future.
Fine, the times are changing. Those flapper broads are setting the stone for what it's like to be a woman. And while you're gone, don't change too much.
I promise, Ophelia. I hear her old man coming, so I've got to scram. Some of the things we changed were like speech mannerisms, because you can tell that almost all the words were like, it gave you a better feeling of the setting. So in Ophelia, and when Laertes was talking to her about having to like restrict her sexual activity, Ophelia seemed more open to talking to the flappers or other sexually free women. So that connected a lot to gender roles and how women changed in the 1920s compared to Shakespearean era. And the clothing changed a lot about how it felt as well, and it really solidified the setting to make it feel like it was the 1920s instead of something from straight out of Hamlet. And obviously we changed the royal titles from things like king and queen to things like the boss and, the big man and whatnot. And overall, the speaking mannerisms they were a lot less formal and a lot less as what a Shakespearean royal would talk like.
Yeah, so I've been saying, the investors on the horizon so far, we're gonna make a lot more money lately.
Oh, sorry about that. Hamlet! How have you been?
That's been going by, to say the least. How have you and good old Rosencrantz been doing?
Actually, funny you say that. See, the paperclip industry's been really, really booming, and my company's been, it's raking in a lot of money lately. Guildenstern also, with his paper mills up in Pennsylvania, also a great idea. Anyway, how have you been doing lately?
Yeah, you two just bumping into me. Drop the act. You guys have been hired by the big man to keep an eye on me.
That's oddly hostile.
Oddly hostile may be, but it isn't gibberish. Now tell me the truth.
Well, you put us at the 8 ball.
Alright, you know what? Screw it all out. Alright, we've been hired. There's been a lot of talking about you, and the big man wants to keep us, have us keep an eye on you.
Yeah, well, that wasn't too hard now, was it? Now, how about you two get the hell out of here before I tell him you slipped up?
Alright, let's go. In this scene, Guildenstern and Rosencrantz bump into Hamlet, which is just minding his own business. The two are lucrative members of the mob trying to get some information from Hamlet, but they eventually crack and reveal their true motives to Hamlet. I chose this scene mainly because I had the most potential to best convey the changes occurring at the time. I decided to make Guildenstern and Rosencrantz businessmen to represent the boom in the U.S. stock market. See, the 1920s didn't really have too many social issues going on other than the 18th Amendment, and eventually the stock market crashed in 1929. Since the stock market crash only happened at the end of the 20s, we decided to focus more on the rise of the stock market and a financial success that better defined the time period. The 18th Amendment is the reason that we decided to have the majority of the plan to speakeasy and adapt the plot to better fit the time period. This removed the problem of having royalty in the U.S., and it better showed the criminal activity during the Prohibition.
Guys, I think Hamlet's coming.
I've been meaning to give you this for a while now.
I never gave you anything.
Yes, you did.
Are you beautiful?
What?
Beauty's power can easily change a good girl into a whore. Go to a convent. Where's your father?
He's at home. Oh, God, please help him.
If you get married, marry a fool, for a wise man will know that you'll cheat.
God, make him normal again.
All women do is hide under a face of makeup. They chisel their way through life.
God, save him. We chose this scene because it helps display Hamlet's madness that progresses throughout the play. This is shown as he pushes Ophelia down into a chair out of rage. Some modifications we made that correlate with family dynamics in the 1920s are the way the traditional family values are changed into a secretive mob approach. We changed this by adding Polonius and Claudius standing at the bar in a speakeasy to help portray the style. During the 20s, the age gap between spouses started to get smaller, and majority of society would marry people who are close to their own age. We used this idea of having our Hamlet and Ophelia be the same age, since they are in the play's love interest. Also during the 1920s, people started to become more affectionate towards their spouses, which correlates to why Ophelia wanted to return the letters back to Hamlet in this scene. Since Hamlet is very upset with all of the events going on, he throws the letters on the ground, symbolizing his denial that he has towards Ophelia. This contributes to our theme because it displays how Ophelia adds to Hamlet's madness and pushes him over the edge.
I wonder what's on the radio.
Breaking news! Lady found dead in lake.
Oh, devastating.
The terrible news just won't stop, and so fast they follow. Your sister just drowned.
Drowned? Where?
It is understood that after her past shift at the juice joint, she became careless with some hooch and let herself become ossified. She continued to gather flowers for her strand of garland when she made her way to the water. She stumbled off the pier and fell in as a fringe on her dress dragged her down to the bottom of the lake, where she came to her death.
How sad to see such a young smarty go. Too much water she has had. So I must refrain from crying myself. It is what us humans are accustomed to nature. Level with me.
In order to effectively convey our appearance adaptation, the use of the flapper dress, darkened lips, and pearls show the high point of 1920s fashion. According to my research, high-class individuals dressed in more expensive clothing and accessories. So in this scene, we utilized the pearl necklace accent on the queen to show the standards of high class compared to the low-class characters, such as Laertes. The addition of the old-fashioned radio exhibits the popular and upcoming innovations from the time. 1920 slang is used to bring back the times, as well as the minor plot change of Ophelia being slightly under the influence and stumbling off of the pier in order to pass away easier. This portrays the norms of that time by connecting the death with the emotional news delivery. Our recurring theme of madness ties in because of the scene's plot with Ophelia's suicide and the dramatic effect of the queen's smeared makeup.
Justice finally caught up with Claudius. The dumbass poisoned his own drink. Before I kick the bucket, promise me, Hamlet, that you'll forgive me as I did you. I no longer blame you for my father's death, and I hope you don't find me responsible for yours.
Don't worry. God forgives you. Goodbye, Horatio. I'm only seconds away from the big one. Death doesn't allow much free time to explain these circumstances to people. But you, Horatio, alive and well, might do. Set the story straight.
Like the ancient Romans, I will follow you in death just like I did in life.
Please, don't drink it, Horatio. If you're a true friend, then you must let go. Postpone your death to explain the slander name I leave behind me. If anyone can, it's you. The poison is wearing me down. Remember, tell the people. Goodbye.
Farewell, sweet friend. May the angels take you to heaven.
The upcoming scene examines the events of Hamlet's and Laertes' death, along with the reaction of Horatio. For this segment, we decided to omit any mention of Fortinbras and Osric's dialogue, because it didn't contribute to our adaptation. As a creative liberty, we felt that killing both characters by poison alcohol contributed to the time period and its emphasis on the illegal distribution of alcohol. We chose this act because it's successful in characterizing Hamlet's endless pursuit for revenge, which is motivated by his unconditional love for his father. Horatio, a loyal friend, is one of the few to recognize his faults. Us choosing his death in the speakeasy magnifies the economic divide of the 20s, mainly by how each character looks. This scene compares three distinct classes: Laertes, who was the lower-class laborer, Horatio, who was a middle-class lawyer, and Hamlet, a fairly upper-class business owner. These adaptations contributed to the social environment of this era and provided a viable strategy to construct our scene.
We arrived at the conclusion of madness being an apparent theme throughout the tragedy. It's found in most parts of the play and in our adapted scenes.
Hamlet's ambitions to avenge his father correlates with Laertes as well. This animosity that fuels them is powered by the madness that they have.
Furthermore exhibited by Ophelia's suicide, this theme affects her grief for Polonius. It is the cornerstone of the plot of the tragedy.
So, to end or not to end?
Yeah, it's gonna be the end.
Bye!
We won't be focusing on the royal
That was so good.
So I've tended to my beeswax.
Beeswax.
Bees